Coach Gus Malzahn will be joining the show here momentarily. Arguably one of the greatest prep coaches of all time. Made the change and went to Auburn. Coach guys like Cam Newton, Nick Marshall has been a nightmare. One of the only guys that has been a nightmare for Nick Saban during his time as the head coach at Auburn. Gus Malzahn is an offensive mastermind, offensive genius, the best high school to college coach in the country. I want to welcome you to the show, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Coach, coaches are always focused on today, the here and now. But I've read your book before. You started off as a defensive coordinator back at Hughes High School in Arkansas, and you had a long journey that led you to now being the head coach at Central Florida. Can you talk a little bit about your journey and kind of look back on the things you've done to end up where you are today?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm a real blessed guy to be where I'm at today. It has been a journey. I guess it was 1991. I started out at Hughes High School, and I was a defensive coordinator. Didn't really have a clue, about football. I learned football through the first couple of years I was there. We were real blessed to have a really good team, really talented team in 1994, and was able to go to a state championship. And that really opened the door for the next step, going to Shiloh Christian, and started running a hurry-up, no-huddle, a 2-minute offense in 1996. That really changed the whole dynamic to my whole coaching career. Went to Springdale High School for 5 years. We had 5 top 100 players in the country. Was able to be one of the better teams in the country in 2005. Went into college in 2006 and got a chance to coach Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. And that was a lot of fun. Went to University of Tulsa for 2 years. And, we were one of the first teams. I know Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia was probably the first, but we were one of the first at Tulsa to run a 2-minute offense entire game. We're number 1 offense in the country 2 years in a row, and got a chance to go to Auburn, Cam Newton championship, all that. And then I started wanting to be a head coach, and I went to Arkansas State 2012, and then I ended up going 2013 back to Auburn. I was head coach there for 8 years. So you're looking at a guy that's just been blessed. Everywhere I've been, I've had really good players to coach. I've had really good coaches to help me along the way. And I'm living a dream, man. The Lord's been good to this guy, and now I'm at Central Florida, and it's an unbelievable situation, and the future is really bright right now.
Well, Coach, speaking of first, you've done a lot of firsts and really good at it. Like, you're one of the first high school programs and high school coaches to get on national televised TV in terms of high school games. Now it's becoming a norm. What changes have you seen from then to now in terms of coverage on the national stage for high school? Yeah,
you're exactly right. I was at Springdale. Our goal was to try to be a top 25 team. And so we looked at the top 10 teams around the country. We started making phone calls, and Jinx, Oklahoma was one, Evangel Christian was another, and we were fortunate enough to Northwest Arkansas to have some big-time sponsors, and kind of fell into that too, and started playing high school football on, on national TV, and that really, opened the door. It's kind of neat to see how things are now. It just seems like every weekend, man, there's really national games all around, the country, and it's really neat to see, especially being a former high school coach.
Coach, you mentioned it earlier. At Arkansas, you had Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis. Can you kind of take us through, from an offensive coordinator standpoint, your game planning and how you decided who was going to touch the ball and in which ways you were going to give them the ball?
Well, I tell you, of course, they were unbelievable. All 3 of them were so talented, and we were just trying to get our best players on the field. And, of course, that year we started the Wildcat. Darren McFadden made it famous, and that was a way to get all 3 of them on the field at the same time. And, that was a really a blessing for me to be able to coach guys like that, especially the first year I coached college.
Coach, speaking of the Wildcat, you had probably the Wildcat guy back there in 2010 when you guys won the national championship. Speaking of Mr. Cam Newton. Now, we all go back to our first impression. What was your first initial impression of Cam that first practice?
Yeah, obviously He's a very talented guy. He was very driven. That's really what stood out to me. I mean, he was really hungry. He was a blessing to coach. He allowed me to coach him hard. He really willed us to win. I mean, and it was really a great experience for me to be able to coach a guy like him and watch what he did. I only had him for 11 months, but man, looking back, that was some of the best times really in my coaching career.
Coach, I see a lot of, as every year when we go through the coaching cycle and you got big time coordinators at Power 5 schools, and a lot of them seem to only want certain type of jobs. Coming off a national championship at Auburn and the success that you had there, your name was thrown around with a lot of jobs, but you ultimately chose to go to Arkansas State. And most coordinators now are unwilling, and even then were unwilling to take some of those really good Group of 5 jobs. What made Arkansas State the right fit for you at that time? And do you think that coaches should give programs like that an opportunity if they want to be head coaches?
But it's, being a former high school coach, it was really about fit for me. Of course, that fit great for me. Hugh Freeze was there, a friend of mine. He told me all about it. He left me some really good players. I knew I could recruit there. And the bottom line is, strategically, these coordinators, when they move up or want to be a head coach, you got to go somewhere you can win. And it was really set up for me, and I felt very confident that we could do that. And honestly, I was planning on sticking around there for a long time. I felt like we could really, win big, and they were building new facilities, a lot of great things going on. And of course, the Auburn job came open, 11 months later. But, that was a really good fit for me.
Coach, just touching on again the coaching tree and just coaching in general. Everyone likes to talk about the Saban tree, the Bill Walsh tree, the Andy Reid tree, but nobody wants to talk about the Gus Malzahn tree. What are some of the things that you've done in terms of helping those guys that's coming underneath of you get developed to becoming great head coaches like they become?
Well, first of all, they're all really, really good people. They care about kids, in it for the right reasons. That's very important to me. Starting back, Mike Norvell, was my GA at Tulsa back in the day, and you could just tell he had something special about him. So it doesn't surprise me at all the success he's had. Eli Drinkers was, a volunteer at Springdale High School. He was my GA when we had, Cam at Auburn doing a great job. We're at Lashley, another guy that's just doing a super job. And of course, we've got some other guys that have been with us, Dale McGee. I'm proud of Dale McGee. He was off the field analyst in 2013. Now he's at Georgia State. So, there's a lot of guys out there that have been with us that's making a great impact and on the game of football and their players.
Coach, everybody loves offensive football. Everybody loves it. And you have been the leader of the hurry up, no huddle offense throughout your entire career. You had interest from other places. What has made the place for you?
It goes back to fit. This is a young school. I'd always tell our staff when I was at Auburn, man, if the right guy ever got there, UCF, and would stay there and not just look at it stepping stone, but actually build it, could be the best job in college football. And now that I've been here for 3 years, I believe it more than ever. We're in the Big 12. This is an unbelievable place to recruit to. The best brands in the world are here in Orlando. There's no NFL team. Everything is set. So it's a real exciting time, and I really feel like we're on the verge of doing something very special here in Orlando.
Now, Coach, just understanding the talent in that area. I mean, when I worked in NFL, one of the schools that we always wanted to go to was UCF because we knew it was raw, untapped talent that was there. You've done an outstanding job of keeping that local talent there. What are some of the things that you've done to keep them there and interested in staying at your program?
Yeah, at Auburn, of course, for 11 years, I recruited this area, recruited Florida, have the connections already. And I just said, man, when we get here, we got to keep our top talent here at home. And so our staff's done a really good job of recruiting the top guys. When we first got here, we weren't Power 5 conference. So, our philosophy was let's still go after the 4 and 5-star guys. And, they may end up going somewhere else, but let's have a great relationship with them where if it doesn't work out, we'll be waiting on them to come back home. And you're starting to see some of that right now. And then, of course, last year going to the Big 12, that's been a game changer for us. Now we can recruit, anyone in this state and at least have a chance. I mean, we're recruiting against Florida, Florida State, Miami, our collective. We're starting to be competitive in that area. And so, I think the sky's the limit right now.
Now, Coach, you mentioned recruiting the 4- and 5-star guys still in the state of Florida. You've been a high school coach. We talked earlier about your time at Springdale. You had some of the top players in the nation. As a college head coach, how important are rankings to you, or are they important at all when you're recruiting guys?
I will say this. I think nowadays the rankings are more accurate than they used to be. I think there's a fine line. I mean, we're going to go after the best players that fit us, the right character and all that. But there is also an image, component to recruiting. I mean, that's just the truth, I mean, if you're in the top 20 in the country recruiting, I mean, that's a big deal for your program. And of course, you see us. I mean, we're chipping away. We're starting to get in that conversation of being, a top 20 type annually type program to recruit. That's a goal. So we are aware of it, but we really try to stick to exactly what fits us. But I will say this, like I said, the rankings, I think, are getting more and more accurate compared to what they used to be.
Now, Coach, you touched on character, and I just want to understand some of the non-negotiable characteristics in terms of fit for your program.
Yeah, when I say character, I mean, I'm looking for the right fit for us. I mean, that's real important to me. I mean, some of these coaches, they'll recruit anybody, take anybody they think they can help win. We're just the opposite of that. We had a 3-point GPA as a team in the fall and the spring. We're looking for young men that care about their future more than what they can do on the field. And so that's really important to us. And we feel like that'll give us an advantage, big picture wise.
Coach, what's the next step to making UCF a national brand, like the other big 3 schools in the state of Florida? You're getting a Power 5 conference now. What's the next step? Yeah,
Carl, it's winning. I mean, everything's set. We need to win on the field. And, we have a real chance this year. I'm really excited about our roster. I think we got a very, very solid staff. We need to take the next step, win on the field on Saturdays. And if we do that, this thing's going to take off like a rocket ship.
Coach, we want to head into the next portion of our interview, which is our true and false segment. We're going to ask you a few questions. You can answer true or false, and you can even expand a little bit on your commentary on why you made the decision you made.
Okay, all right.
Carl, I got to get the first one.
Go ahead. You can take the first one.
Coach, they've been ripping me up on the internet for weeks in terms of social media about this one subject. True or false? Is Cam Newton the greatest player in SEC history?
Yeah, true with a capital T.
Hey, you couldn't say it more simple than that.
Hey, I think he's the best college player to ever play 1 year. And, I don't know how anybody can argue against it. I mean, look what he did. I mean, we didn't have a lot of NFL players, on our team, and especially the offense. And we won the national championship. He willed us to win. I'll say this. I've been coaching for 30-some years. He's the only player that you could feel fear in the defenses out there. And we played real defenses, some of the best in the country. And you could feel they were scared of him. So that should tell it all.
So Smoke comes to my house, Coach, and he says he's the best player in the SEC. You double down with Smoke and say the best ever that played 1 year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna go with you guys on that. Second true or false question: the kick six was the most electrifying play in the history of college football.
I think it's true. I mean, even if I wasn't a part of it, I would say true. I mean, that, not just the play, but the moment, how important that game was, and to win it that way, that was really something.
Coach, a birdie tapped me on the shoulder. Coach Cheese, that was my DB coach. Also, Chris is our DB coach. And he said he tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, listen, I think we should put Chris back there. True or false? Did Coach Cheese give you that memo before that kick six happened?
That is true.
Ooh, I got to call Coach Cheese to tell him that.
You got to back Cheese up. I was waiting on the truth, Smoke. Hey, Cheese always kept it real.
Yeah, we had our safety. We had our safety back. I was going to freeze the kicker anyway, okay? And, you know, they had the backup kicker, and something was just kind of a little fishy anyway. And so we called timeout. We had a little chance. And I think Rhett Lashley also deserves some credit with that. I think he was, you know, telling us the same thing. But, yeah, that is true.
Now, Coach, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm going to ask you this. True or false? The wing T is the greatest offense ever created.
True. So, and here's the reason I say that, okay? So, I took a job at Hughes High School. I never got a chance to learn under anyone. I mean, I just went out there, learned by mistakes. I kind of tried to pick and choose and different offenses and all that. And then I bought the Delaware Wing T book. I guess it was 1992. And I went, you know, word by word. Well, I mean, and page by page, exactly. And then we ran some wing eye with it. And that's who I am as a coach. I mean, I'm a wing T coach background. And then when I went to Shiloh Christian, we kind of, you know, we went to the shotgun, but we still had the wing T principles, you know, as far as our run game and all that. And I carry it today. So, but yeah, I'm a big wing T guy.
Coach, I'm never going to hear the last of that because I've been known to tell Carl a few times that we ran the Chuck Clausen wing T offense my first 3 years in high school. And my last year, I looked at the coach and coach, if we run another snap of me going east and west to go north, I'm not doing it anymore. So we kept some variations of it, but we kept it the same. Coach, we also know that you're a lover of Waffle House. Is Waffle House the best paid place to have breakfast? True or false?
Oh, wow. You know, First Watch, one of our biggest donors here, owns First Watch. So I've kind of transitioned, but I am a big Waffle House guy. Y'all know that. It started back in high school. So, you know, me and Chrissy just got, every time we won a game, and we went to Waffle House. And so Chrissy always told me, hey, this college football is not going to change us. So we got in college, and every time after we won, we went to Waffle House, and I had the same order and all that. But, yeah, I'm a big Waffle House guy.
Coach, what's your order when you step in?
Yeah,
you do it word for word.
Yeah, ham and cheese omelet, scattered, covered, chunk, diced. You know, I get crispy bacon after a big win. I add a waffle to it, so I'm pretty consistent.
Meal for a winner.
Coach, true or false? There are coaches currently coaching in high school right now that have what it takes to coach at the major college level.
True, 100% true. You know, and that's a big deal, and not just for me, but the coaches in our tree. You look, I mean, you know, we're always looking for high school guys to get the same opportunity that I had and give them a chance. You know, some of the best coaches I've ever coached against were high school coaches, and you know, not just the relationship piece. I think, you know, that's really big for college football, to have that relationship with your players, you know, on a personal level, and take the business side out, which college football is a big time business. We all know that, but the coaches that can do that, I think they have an advantage. And then also, I think, like, you know, you have your system, okay? But if you're a high school coach, you have your system that you believe in, but you're going to have different kind of players each year, and building around their strengths. I know for me, that's been a big key, you know, advantage for me, that we love our system. But in high school, man, I had a different kind of quarterback just about every year, and used to, you know, changing. A lot of college systems, man, they're set. And if they don't have the right type people to fit that system, it makes it tough. So the flexibility piece and the personal relationship are the two things I know it helped me being a former high school coach.
Coach, true or false? High school recruiting is a true foundational piece of a successful program.
True for me. You know, right now, everybody's trying to balance this portal high school. I think, you know, our foundation is still going to be built on high school players from the state of Florida, from this area. I think you have to have a foundation. That's just me personally. I know there's different philosophies right now, and, you know, to each his own with that, but I know that's important to me. And we're using the portal just for the needs. And, you know, each year now you're learning, you got to re-recruit your own players. After that, you know, season, you figure out, okay, what I have to have. And we'll go in the portal to get those immediate needs, but we're going to have our foundation built with high school players.
Now, Coach, I'm gonna throw a wild question to you. All right. So you coach, you've had some really good guys work under you. I've been on social media and I've been seeing a lot of high school coaches do the 225 bench press contest. It's become like this challenge on the internet. So if you had Eli Drinkwitz, Rhett Lashley, Kenny Dillingham, and Mike Norvell in the weight room, who puts out the most on the 225 bench press challenge?
Wow, that's you would. What is it, Rhett? God, they're all pretty young. Mike's getting a little older. Rhett probably, I would say, if you made me pick. But, Dillingham's young, like really young and all that. Norvell's a great competitor. He's probably mad if he hears this, I pick somebody else. And Drink is like, he's kind of sneaky, okay? He's kind of sneaky. But I will tell you this, it would be unbelievably competitive. I'd like to watch it.
Coach, you gave the best answer to not answering the question. I just learned that.
Man, that's a hard one. Like, that isn't an easy one. I was really thinking, I was really trying to give you the best answer.
You talk about competitive. When I was a high school coach in St. Louis, Eli Drinkwitz had just got the job at the University of Missouri. He's straight on the road. He comes to see me at the high school the very first day he's out. And he says, "Don't let these thick glasses fool you. I'm all dog, Reed. I am a dog."
Yeah, that sounds like him, and it really is. I got a chance to know Eli. I was a high school coach at Shiloh, and we had an all-star game, and I was the offensive coordinator, which was a huge deal for me at the time. Well, his head coach was a legend, and his head coach was the head coach of the all-star game. The head coach got to bring the manager, and Eli was a sophomore manager, and so I got a chance to meet him, and he was my manager during the deal. And so he has something a little special to him. He has his own approach, and I'm proud of him. But, man, he's doing a great job right now.
Coach, the last thing I'm going to ask you before we get out of here, there's a lot of high school coaches that watch our show and that want to make the transition to college football. What's the best advice you can give them to give themselves the best opportunity?
Yeah, it's about relationships. I would find someone that, man, I would like to, far as philosophy wise and everything, and I would work camps. I would ask to, hey, can I talk ball? Can I bring my players to your camp and just develop that relationship, not just with the head coach, but the people in his circle? Because, I'm looking for good people that will be great examples for, our players, what a great dad looks like, what a great husband looks like, and a guy that has a chance to make it. And, if you're going to get in college football, it's almost like a different profession when you add the recruiting and the time and everything that goes with it. But, yeah, there's nothing better than relationships. And it can't be just like, I just met a guy and expect him to hire you. It's got to be over a course of time to develop a relationship. And that would be my best advice.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on with us today. We really appreciate you joining the show, and we know you got to jump back into that hot Florida sun.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. I'm big fans of you guys. You guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
For more UCF coverage, visit Knights247.com for the latest news on Golden Knights football and recruiting.